going to be making some production molds of these two models here that I cast in silicone earlier. I've mixed up the plaster already. I'm making 6.5 liters. I'm going to see how it goes. If you want to know how I mix the plaster, just look at Andrew Martin's book and copy him. Don't copy me. If he doesn't do it, don't try it. He's a master. He's been working in plaster and slip casting specifically for decades now. And he's got tips and tricks. It's probably one of the best books, kind of a studio practice book rather than super industrial, right? And so buy that book and learn how to mix plaster properly. Weigh it out every time. The problem that you have if you don't weigh it out with a ceramic mold is fine really if it's only one piece, but if it's two pieces, one of the pieces will be denser than the other and it will pull the cast towards it or repel it, and you won't get an even cast. So if you weigh it out just with a kitchen scale or something and measure out the water, then you'll get the same density on both sides of your form, or if you're making multiples, they'll be the same density, so they will release at the same time and you'll have less problems. My experience with plaster, which is very limited, is try to negate problems. Always. There's no give with plaster. It doesn't forgive and it doesn't forget. So basically what Andrew said to mix up the plaster is you weigh it out and it can slake down for 20 minutes before you pour your mold. Let it slake down. Don't rush in and start mixing it right away. You'll get lumps, you'll get air bubbles, you get all kinds of problems. So I've let it sit for a couple minutes. I'm going to let it sit for a couple more, and I'm going to pour this up to this line here and see how much we have left for maybe that one as well. One thing that I've found is helpful when you're pouring is not to pour directly on your model, even if it is a silicone model. You don't want to pour directly on the model, especially if it's plaster, because there is still some porosity in the plaster model and it will kind of freeze a bit of the plaster there and dry it out a little further. So what you want is something to come down the side and pour down onto the bottom of the mold and let it rise slowly. Okay? Let's see. I know this is action-packed, but that's what it is. So here we go. Try not to introduce too much air. And what I want to do is get down on the bottom and shake back and forth and really mix up after I get the plaster up and over the water. There we go. Now I want to get in deeper and shake. We want all of the particles of plaster slaked down with the water, and it's going to keep on absorbing and absorbing water. And what you're going to get is a little bit of a scum on the top here. what I do is I just herd that into a corner and take it off. It shouldn't be a necessity, but it's prevented some bad casts before. So give it another mix for 30 seconds. Make sure that all those particles are wet, there's no lumps. And if you shake down at the bottom like this, you're going to bring all those bubbles to the surface and start making that scum again. That's really handy to get rid of the bubbles. You're going to break a lot of them when you pour, but to get rid of lots at the very beginning is pretty crucial. Okay. Okay, here we go. Okay. There we go. Right, and then we just let that sit.